Zach Morris is trash.
Zach's reading Making Money magazine. He says the greedy monsters in here are just like him. Big ideas for big money. Zach sees he can get a 900 number, a small idea, and charge $2 a call, small money. He just needs a gimmick. Jesse's reading letters to a Dear Donna advice column. Lisa always gives the same sound advice as Dear Donna. Zach hears his friend has a natural ability to help others and gets a great idea to exploit her gift for cash. Kelly shows up with her little sister Nikki. Zach asks how the cutest pitcher in 7th grade is, then unnecessarily puts his arm around her, then says she's not just cute, she's smart too. And adds,
I love this kid.
Zach's gratuitous affection sends her impressionable young mind to a fantastical hip-hop Cinderella story where Zach has the flow of a drain clogged with rat pubes.
Before I go, won't you try on the shoe? Because you never know, it might fit you!
Screech wonders how much they're going to make with this teen line. Zach breaks out his tiniest calculator and announces they're filthy rich, despite the fact that that screen can only display a maximum of 5 digits. Lisa interrupts Zach's premature, immature celebration. Zach tells her about the teen line, and Lisa, who has learned from working with Zach in the past, immediately wants to know about the money. Zach chides her for thinking about dollars at a time when helping peers should be top of mind. Lisa tells Zach to cut the bullshit and give her half of everything. Zach says fine, but no more giving aid for free, and don't say nothing about teen line to nobody. The teen line is going okay. Zach, Nitro,
Teen line, this is Nitro,
is giving Lisa's advice, wrapped in his very dumb accent.
Hey, well, about you watch a little lady you love poem.
Kelly's sister calls and says she really likes a guy, but he's taken. Nitro asks how he feels about her. Nikki says the guy says he loves her. Zach hears nothing familiar about this story he's a central character in and tells Nikki to go for it with the guy who has a girlfriend, because
all's fair in true love and war.
Which isn't even the right quote, but whatever. Nikki arrives the next day, looking like an online predator sting operation, and tells Zach she wants to be his girlfriend. Zach sees no issue with the fact that she's 13, but mentions Kelly as a potential obstacle. Nikki regurgitates Zach's inaccurate quote about romance, and he finally connects these very large dots. Teen line. Zach says Nikki must have received advice from a moron. Accurate, and tells her to beat it before Kelly shows up. Nikki says she'll go, but not before she gets a goodbye kiss. Zach shoves her tiny ass in a locker. Kelly says Nikki has her first crush, but she won't say who it is. Zach says he's probably a great guy, while imprisoning a young girl in a small dark metal box. Nikki says she won't leave until Zach gives her a kiss. So instead of walking away from this 90-pound child, Zach kisses her and embraces her where everyone in school can see. Screech says Teen Line is a hit because Lisa solved everyone's problems. No problems means no calls, so Zach fires Lisa for doing her job, then tries to get out of paying her, which he only begrudgingly agrees to do under the threat of blackmail as Lisa is forced to stoop to his level. Zach gets the bright idea to start giving bad advice, so students will be unhappy, then call in for more advice, creating an infinite loop of income mined from misery. His first victim? Telling his friend Slater to break up with his other friend Jesse. Jesse's in the middle of explaining to Kelly that Zach is really kissing her little sister at school when Slater walks in and breaks up with her. Jesse runs off to cry, and Zach yells at her to call Teen Line, then scans the room for more lives to ruin. He sees the recipient of that jock's poem and tells her it's plagiarized. Another happy future bites the dust. Kelly calls Teen Line and says she thinks her boyfriend is dating her kid sister. But instead of coming clean, Zach calls Lisa, the person he wrongfully terminated, to beg for advice in this glaringly simple dilemma. Lisa shrewdly demands the rest of Zach's depression dough, then says be honest with Kelly and let Nikki off gently. Fucking duh. Zach thinks he's talking to Nikki because phones are hard, and tells Kelly it sounds like this dude is into her sister and she should be with someone else. Click, bitch. Then drops his lame accent to tell Nikki,
I'm the one running the Teen Line, and you're the only Kapowski I care about. But don't tell your sister. You should let her down gently.
Don't worry, Zach. I won't tell Kelly.
Whoops, bitch. Meanwhile, in art class, everyone is fighting because Zach instigated a school-wide gender war with his malicious and predatory 900 number. Belding brings this hormone hurricane to his office where they all realize they got conflicting advice from Teen Line. Belding deduces Zach and Screech, the only unscathed students in the room, are culpable for this debacle and tells them they have until tomorrow to make it right. Zach wants Lisa to fix his many messes, starting with the young girl he's told to hook up with him twice. Lisa says he needs to convince Nikki he's gross. Should be easy enough, which gives Zach another great idea. Then Lisa starts undoing Zach's long trail of misguidance, student by student, wasting valuable time and energy these youths should be spending on anything else in the prime of their lives. Lisa sees Kelly's depressed after being told off over the phone by a man with a bad accent, and tells her to come to the Max and hide out in that booth in a very inconspicuous outfit. Zach arranges a date with Nikki where he performs a nerd minstrel show. He introduces Nikki to his pet spider, Leonard. She's into it. He acts like a messy dork, and she's down. He invites her to the insect rodeo, and she already has front row seats, because Kapowski women are apparently apparently the most amazing women on earth. Zach comes clean that he's actually in love with Kelly. Nikki realizes Zach did all this to push her away and shames him for being a dork. A real dork, because he couldn't tell a 13-year-old girl the truth. And a mentally battered Kelly picks up the scraps Nikki was smart enough to leave behind. And Nikki, heartbroken her older sister has been brainwashed by this bozo, is never seen again because she probably fucking killed herself. Let's review. Zach Morris saw his friend's ability to help others as a way to get rich quick. And after leading his girlfriend's little sister on, told her to hook up with a guy who has a girlfriend, which is bad already, but even worse because he was talking about himself. Then when she acted on his advice, he shoved her in a locker to keep it a secret from her sister. Then became physically intimate with her in public, leading her on more. Then fired the only good thing about his teen line, and started giving deliberately bad advice to make the whole school miserable for his financial gain. Then told his girlfriend to get lost, and told her little sister to hook up with him again. Then used the person he fired to clean up his mess, and still didn't have the minuscule amount of decency and courage required to be honest with a 13-year-old girl, until it was his absolute last resort. Zach Morris is trash.
Zach Morris is trash.